Okay, part 2. Alright, so we're going to run down the RS10 MIDI controller here real fast. What it is, it's a multi-function MIDI foot controller. It features direct access to 10 MIDI channels, which means I can take each one, if I have 10 effects, I can take each one and set them up as a MIDI channel. So what is a MIDI channel? To me, the simplest way to describe a MIDI channel is that you have two telephones and you want to call somebody. Well, you need a number to call that person. So I have my phone, I want to call somebody, I'm going to punch in that number and then I'm going to call that person. It's the same thing with these effects. You have to have a different number if you're going to do different effects one at a time. So that's what we do when we control these things independent. There's also a thing called global, and that's more like a conference call. When you're at the office, you got 10 phones and everybody presses the speaker and boom, you're all on one line. I don't particularly like that myself, because if one piece of gear fails, I don't know what that piece of gear is. So, and that can get pretty frustrating. So I use separate MIDI channels, just like, 10 different phone numbers, and then set my rig up that way. So back to the controller, and we have capable of storing combinations of 10 controller switches. So the 10 controller switches are these right up here. And we can configure these into 128 memory locations, configured as 32 banks of 4 random presets. Here's the 4 random presets, and then we went over the ports and the power supplies, and so that is part 2. We have to really break this down into short segments and different parts just to digest the whole MIDI thing. It can get overwhelming, but it's really very simple to do.